Every year, an alarming 1.8 million people are diagnosed with colon cancer globally. This disease slithers into the lives of unsuspecting individuals, often unnoticed until it's too late. Akin to a silent killer, colon cancer is notorious for its subtle onset and gradual progression. Prevalence of this disease is a stark reminder of our vulnerability. It's easy to forget that our health is a delicate balance, especially when we're caught up in the hustle and bustle of daily life. But it's crucial to remember that early detection of colon cancer can significantly increase survival rates. When detected early, the 5-year survival rate for colon cancer is about 90%. But when it's found late, after it has spread to other parts of the body, the 5-year survival rate drops to about 14%. That's a staggering difference, isn't it? Now let's talk about John. John is a character we've created to help illustrate the stealthy nature of colon cancer. He's a 50-year-old man with a demanding job and a family he adores. John is active, loves to travel, and enjoys a good barbecue on weekends. He's just like any one of us, living life to the fullest, blissfully unaware of the silent threat lurking within. One day, John begins to notice certain changes. His bowel habits seem a bit off, he's been noticing blood in his stool, and he's been feeling abdominal pain more frequently than usual. On top of that, he's been feeling tired and weak despite getting plenty of sleep. These symptoms are not just random occurrences, they're the body's way of raising a red flag signaling that something isn't right. But like many of us, John brushes off these symptoms. He chalks it up to stress, age, perhaps even a bad meal. He continues with his routine, not realizing the silent killer was creeping up on him. This story, though hypothetical, is a reality for many. It's a stark reminder that we need to pay attention to our bodies and never overlook the signs they give us. But remember, early detection is key. It can mean the difference between life and death, so stay vigilant, stay informed, and always prioritize your health. John, like many of us, brushed off these symptoms, not realizing the silent killer was creeping up on him. John, a healthy man in his 40s, began noticing a change in his bowel habits. This wasn't a one-off occurrence but a consistent shift that couldn't be ignored. He had always been regular, like clockwork, but now things were different. There was a new unpredictability that was hard to pin down. You see, many of us might brush this off, attributing it to a recent change in diet or perhaps a stressful week at work. We shrug it off thinking, it's probably nothing. But here's the thing, it's not always nothing. John's story is not unique. This is a common mistake people make, assuming that changes in bowel habits are merely the result of transient factors like diet or stress. Yet these changes could be signaling something more serious, something lurking beneath the surface, a silent and often overlooked menace. Little did John know, this was the first sign of a much more serious problem. After weeks, John noticed another alarming symptom, blood in his stool. This was not a sign he could ignore. It was shocking and it was scary. Known as Hematochezia or Melina, this symptom is a clear indication that something's not right. It could be as harmless as hemorrhoids or as serious as colon cancer. In John's case, it was bright red blood, a condition known as Hematochezia. This usually indicates bleeding in the lower gastrointestinal tract. This was not a symptom that John discovered casually. No, it was a frightening revelation that made his heart race and his mind whirl with fear. This symptom is not something to brush off, it's a clear sign that a visit to the doctor is needed. But John, like many others, chose to ignore it, hoping it would just go away. But it didn't. He was now dealing with the second sign of colon cancer, yet he was still unaware. John started experiencing abdominal pain and a constant feeling of fullness. A pain that was more than just an upset stomach, it was persistent and seemed to grow in intensity with each passing day. It felt as if his belly was increasingly bloated, stretched out from the inside. This discomfort wasn't just physical, it was a mental burden too, a constant reminder that something was not right. As the weeks rolled on, John noticed a peculiar change. He was feeling more drained, more fatigued than usual. His once vibrant energy seemed to be replaced with an unrelenting weakness, a tiredness that sleep couldn't shake off. His zest for life was diminishing, and he wasn't sure why. These were no ordinary symptoms. John was experiencing the third and fourth signs of colon cancer, abdominal pain and distension, and unexplained iron deficiency anemia. The abdominal pain and distension were evident, but the anemia was a silent accomplice. It quietly sapped his energy, leaving him feeling weak and worn out. His body was lacking iron, an essential element for producing red blood cells. Without enough red blood cells, his body was unable to get the oxygen it needed, leading to his overwhelming fatigue. John's body was sending him warning signals, but he was still in denial. It took a fainting spell for John to finally seek medical help, but it shouldn't have to come to such extremes. Tired and pale, John was facing something far more serious than just exhaustion. His diagnosis: colon cancer. The doctor explained that his unexplained anemia was a result of blood loss, a telltale sign of colon cancer. And it was clear John had unknowingly been ignoring the signs his body was trying to show him for months. Now let's take a moment here, folks. See, John is not alone in this. Many of us tend to brush off symptoms as minor inconveniences, assuming they will go away on their own. But sometimes, they are signals of something much more profound. This is especially true for those over the age of 45. Why, you ask? Well, as we age, our risk of developing colon cancer significantly increases. Regular checkups become, not just important, but essential. They can help catch early signs of potential health issues, and in some cases, can literally be a lifesaver. So, let's be like the wiser post-diagnosis John, who now encourages his friends and family to stay on top of their health. Let's listen to our bodies, and not wait for a wake-up call as dramatic as a fainting spell. John's story is a wake-up call for all of us. Don't ignore the signs your body is showing you. Early detection can save lives. Remember, prevention is always better than cure.